What's up guys, it's 𝗍𝗶𝗱𝗃𝗀 here. Now the beta test for Stevorium is currently live and all beta testers are now able to record on the server. This means that within a week or 2 or 3, depending how long Mega needs to flesh out all the bugs and all that, Stevorium will be opening to the public. So before then, I thought it would be a good idea for us, you and me, to go through the Stevorium's FAQs and rules so that you guys will know what to do when it comes to applying for the whitelist. So let's get into it. When will Stevorium launch? Now, contrary to what is actually written in the FAQ, it's not going to be available on August the 1st to 7th. It actually just recently released for beta testers within a week or 2 ago. So if everything goes well and there are no major bugs that arise within the beta test, best case scenario may be in a week or 2, and the server itself will open up to all non-donators. So that means hopefully, and this is just my speculation, within a week or 2, if there are no large-scale bugs that kind of mess up the flow of the server, all non-donators will be able to apply for whitelist. Whitelisting, as I mentioned just before, Stevorium is a whitelisted server. That means you will have to go through an application to actually get accepted to it. Honestly, from my experience, it wasn't that hard. It's not that difficult. I mean, really, I guess the hardest part in quotation marks was the last bit of it, if it hasn't changed. I don't think so, it has changed, but I guess the last part is mainly talking about yourself. That's for me personally, but other than that, it should be pretty straightforward. It does require you to go through the FAQ and does require you to know some Discord stuff. So other than that, it's actually really easy, and as long as you're not doing like being toxic or breaking rules on the Discord or even on the old SMP server, if you were here for that, you should be fine. Oh, okay, fuck, sorry about that. You should be fine with the application. Modpack/server version. So to my knowledge, Stevorium is a 1.17 modpack. If you go on the 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗀𝗃 launcher and you search up literally this Steve 5's Origin Plus pack, you will literally, it's the only one there, to my knowledge. Last time I checked, it's the only mod pack there. You cannot miss it. You just need to click, download that mod pack, and when it becomes open to non-donators, you should just be able to play it. It's as simple as that. Also, it is a fabric-based mod pack. It's not for Forge. It is for fabric, so there will be no Optifine. However, I believe Steve has made a video specifically so that you could use Optifine on fabric. So I'll leave that up in the top right-hand corner if you guys are interested in that. So yeah. What about the old server? Well, Steve only gets one server because Basic Hosting only gives him one server to host. They can only host one server for him. So the server, I wasn't a part of the old Origins SMP, but that is no longer going to be a thing. That's just going to be completely deleted. I'm sure by now everyone who is a part of the server itself will know this. And the old server is just getting replaced with the new one. So yeah. So on the off chance that you want the old server files, I wouldn't expect many people to want them. There is a way to do it, but you have to get it through Basic Hosting. So if you use the checkout code Steve for the 25% off, I'm pretty sure according to this you are able to get it through them. But I don't really see many people doing that, so I'm just not going to go too deep into that. Now here's a big one. Is Stevorium a mod or a data pack? Now, Stevorium is a data pack created by Mega, the developer. The electric element actually is available for public use. Not public use, but you're able to use it and download it and play with it. However, the other elements are probably going to be confidential and only for the server, just to give the server a more unique feel. So that's the only place you are able to play it. Saying that, the actual Origins and I guess gods themselves are a part of the data pack. However, the mod pack that you are downloading, so the Steve's 5 Origins Plus pack, that is just the other mods that go with it, if that makes sense and if that helps explain it. Now, what are the elements? So in Stevorium, each element is represented by a certain god. For example, for electric, you've got 𝗏𝗁, goddess of electricity, or both thunder or lightning. Same difference. Each element has 2 different evolving origins attached to it. So for 𝗏𝗁, you have the Sparker and you have the Electrocutionist. And the server will launch with 4 elements, which is 8 origins. They plan to do free DLC content updates after the launch. This means every few weeks, they will upload a new element for everyone to play on the server, depending how long it takes to code. And the first DLC update will be the death element. I have made a shorts on this about the elements and the order of the DLC ones, if you want to check that out. Legendary and godly donators will be able to play these new elements on the server 5 days before other players. The donators are our beta testers and have paid for the privilege to test out the new content before it releases to the public. Stevorium will launch with electric element, fire element, water and nature elements. What if you don't like your origin? So part of the whitelist application actually makes you choose what origin or element that you would like to play when you join. That way, just in case if you were to go back on your word, you are the only one that will be held accountable if you don't like it. However, you will not be going in blind, because before the free-to-play players are able to join, Steve will be making video guides on all of the origins before they get released. So you should be given enough knowledge and enough information about them before you even play them. However, if you still do not like your origin and you've got all the information from it and you just don't like its playstyle, or for example the floraling actually makes you motion sick, the orb can be bought in with in-game money or they can be crafted. Now the in-game money part, currently in the beta test, I believe you can't even make these yet, because we're not even able to get to the end yet. You can't make these yet, but when the server comes out, you're able to make them. There's a specific recipe that has been incorporated as a data pack, so you can actually make those orbs of origin swaps. And also another way is they can be won through competitions that are planned to be like, I don't know, every few months or something, or a month. And also if you donate, you are given an amount of swaps that you can actually use. So for legendary donators, I believe you can have 3 origin swaps, and for godly donators you can have 5 origin swaps. Map and world questions. Now, you're not actually forced to start in any biome or region. However, the names of the regions in Stevorium are actually kind of like a hint to where each element would be good at. For example, Storm's Refuge, that's a huge plains biome, and I mean huge. I've played on the server. It's decently sized. So though it's a really open plains biome, where if you were an electric player like a Sparker or an Electrocutionist, you would be able to shoot your shots from wherever you are, as long as you're not covered by anything. So yeah, if you want like an example where it is just a bad place for you to spawn, a fire starter in the middle of the Southern Sea, you will literally die. I don't know how to put it. You will literally you are hydrophobic. You cannot survive in water, so you will literally take constant damage. So that's a bad place for any fire starters to spawn in. However, none of these areas have any allegiance to certain elements. They're just places where some elements will do better and some will do worse. At launch, there will be an overall border that's around 6,000 to 6,000 blocks. The border will expand after every DLC that they drop, so they already know what the world is already going to look like, and they have no plans to create world borders in the Nether or End. So make sure to return through your own portals, because if you take a random Nether portal, you may end up outside the overworld border, and that means you die instantly and lose all your loot. Alright, so region details. I've already made a video on this topic specifically and little shorts for it, so if you want to, I guess this is one of the times I'm going to use the iCards in the top right. Make sure to click on that and watch it there. It's a bit more better explained, so hopefully that will help. I will go through it quickly. Storm's Refuge, the optimal place for electric players. Arborlands and Vilevound Forest, best for nature players because saplings and flowers, that gives you a little boost. Molten Peninsula and Ancient Isles, really good for fire players because there's no rain, and you know, you're hydrophobic, you're going to get damaged by it. And Harmonious Haven is literally like a PvE area. It's just a chill neutral zone. It's just if you want to relax and just play on the server without any drama. So yeah. Element effectiveness chart. So this chart will be updated as DLC elements are released, but most of it is just common sense. You know, it makes sense which is weak against which, but I guess we'll go through it because there is like maybe I guess one that just doesn't make as much sense. So electricity is strong against water and nature but weak against fire. Fire is strong against nature and weak against water. Water is strong against fire but weak against electricity and nature. And nature is strong against water but weak against fire and electricity. Faction team / rules. So in Stevorium currently I think we're using Flans and Gunpowder Economy mods. So I guess Flans is the only like factions mod that we kind of have at the moment, but Stevorium is a PvP server, so there probably will be large scale wars between empires and stuff. You are allowed to team with any element or any origin, but there are some good combinations and bad ones. So for example, let's just say for example, one of the fire I guess origins has like an AoE burst of fire that is planned as an ability. If you have any nature players in your like I guess faction, they might not be the best choice to take with them, because if they get caught on fire they will start to take damage. So it's pretty good to either take like a bunch of fire origins, and I guess maybe you could take a Terra Hydrant since they have an ability that makes them I guess immune to fire damage. But yeah, make sure that you choose your team's combinations wisely. Wars. So in Stevorium it's a PvP faction server basically, alright? I don't think so anyone would deny the fact that it technically is one. So warring is going to be a big deal between factions that have a lot of issues with each other, and it's an even bigger deal for any allies of the factions or just other factions that benefit from a large scale faction existing. So wars are probably going to be a huge planned events that will affect the server in a big way. There are multiple types of legal wars that are allowed on the server. Losing a war will likely be when one side surrenders, which is probably when one team is in your home territory and is continually kill spawning you and draining your resources. Alright, so types of wars. So there are actually I guess 3 or 4 types of wars. So the first one is a formal war. So both parties must consent to this kind of war. You will each agree on what the other team will give or take when the war is lost. It is optional to let the mods know about your formal wars. However, if you do let the mods know, they can actually force the other party to surrender what is agreed upon if they lose, guaranteeing the victor gets their prize. So rewards for winning a formal war could be transferring a city, land or ownership to the victor, paying money, surrendering resources, or forcing them to unclaim and leave to find a new place completely. Surprise wars. So any party can instantly declare war on another party. However, there needs to be a real reason, and that reason needs to be explained to the moderation team before you start. Now, reasons that you can declare a surprise war could be because a party is settled right next to you, were caught lurking on your land, stole something from you, or violated a treaty of some kind. There needs to be proof of this treaty, whether it's in a Minecraft book or maybe in a Discord DM, but there needs to be proof of it. Embargos. Now, embargos are not really a type of war, but is still included in this category. You can declare an embargo against another party, faction, nation, town, etc. This means that you publicly state that you will automatically be warring with anyone who trades or supports the party you placed an embargo on. This gives you a legal excuse to go to war with anyone who is found supporting or trading with the embargoed party. This also means that the allies of the embargoed party can intentionally trigger the embargo war while you are offline. Since it's not a formal war, they can attack you in return at any time. This style of war is not really advised if you're a small nation, because you need a significant number of players and influence to enforce an embargo effectively. Fuck. Bro, what the fuck? Why does sugar have 10 fucking micrograms of fucking micrograms? Milligrams. Wait. What the fuck? There's so much sugar in it. Oh shit, civil war. Civil war. A war that is within your own borders. This type of war can be used to overthrow leaders and institute a new style of leadership. You do not have to tell the mod team about a civil war, as this will likely happen in large nations, but if you have the feeling that your leader will not surrender if they are overthrown, you must contact the mod team ahead of time so that they can enforce a change of leadership. Alright, now classifications of settlements. Classification of your settlement depends on the amount of people you have in your faction and the amount of people living, I guess, in that area. So for your place to be considered a hamlet, the population must be between 1 to 5 actual players. So a description of it is a hamlet is a very small settlements, usually without any noticeable infrastructure, a town hall or a government, for example. Townships are between 6 to 13 players. A town is the next stage of a hamlet. At this point there is generally a leader and a system of policies in place. Cities, now this is between 14 to 24 players. A city is usually a very well developed settlement. Its citizens are usually specialized, so you have miners, farmers, fighters, etc. It has a stable economy, government, and practices in global trade. Empires are 25 plus people, so an empire is a huge player when it comes to territorial power. Empires usually have dedicated armies, secure strongholds, powerful governments, and influential power. Now, nations, they're a special type of settlements because nations represent large claims of lands that are all in one region. However, nations are the ultimate power and security for players, but it comes at a great cost and effort. One civil war is basically all it can take to tear it down and disrupt the whole power balance. So the special requirements for becoming a nation is that all settlements must be in the same region. So either all of them needs to be in Storm's Refuge, the Ancient Isles, Molten Peninsula, or the Arbor Lands, for example. Nations are not allowed to be formed in Harmonious Haven because of their neutrality. You must have a population of 50 plus players. You can have any amalgamation of a settlement combination. So for example, 2 empires, 1 township, and a hamlet, or 1 empire, a city, a hamlet, or just 2 empires, or an empire and 6 hamlet, etc. However, there must be at least 1 empire to create a nation. The empire will then become the capital of the nation. If your empire reaches 50 plus people on its own, you can become a solo nation. What is a nation on Stevorium? So a nation is really just an RP element that isn't physically in the game. So you may actually vote on the leader of your nation. By default it goes to the leader of the empire. Nations become allies with all settlements inside automatically. You still get to keep your own claims, but they aren't physically merged as one territory. But if one of your nation's settlements is attacked, you are honor bound to defend them. If one of your nation's settlements attacks someone else, you do not have to follow them in. Creating a nation is a huge achievement in Stevorium and is one of the most secure settlements possible. No one is crazy enough to provoke a nation on their own. Alright, so naming your settlement. So your settlement should actually be named after the land and not your faction. It's an example given here is if your faction's people are called the Dark Brotherhood, that cannot be what the name of the land is called. The land would be called, for example, the Gold Coast, and the people would be called the Dark Brotherhood. So another example is, can you substitute a real country's name with the name of your land? Canada could be substituted with the Redlands. That makes sense because it's the name of the territory or land. Canada could not be substituted for the Dark Traders. It's not a name for the land, it's just a name for the people or group that occupy it. Your people can be called whatever you like, but it needs to follow this guideline. If they see a land that's called the Great Traders of Stevorium, it will be deleted. If they see a land that's called the Golden Shores and people call themselves the Great Traders of Stevorium, they would be happy. Who is your settlement allowed to target for war? So the notes will be based upon the table that we've just covered with the classification of settlements. If any player is caught in the wild outside of their home territory, it is legal to kill them. So you are able to kill them, they're not inside their territory, it's all goods. Killing a player in their home territory is considered an act of war, however. A casus belli, an act or situation provoking or justifying a war. This could include proof of violation is obviously required. Settling too close to your land, so if you were there first and another faction came along and just literally started building, 50 or 40 blocks away from you, that could be justified. Caught sneaking around your property, easily justified. Caught taking resources near your base, looks like they might get ready to attack your base, so if they're gathering a large group of people, or they're making temporary building for them to stay at, that could be deemed as getting ready to attack you. Repeatedly harassing and targeting you or your citizens. Violated some kind of treaty, there needs to be obviously proof of that, or other forms of suspicious or aggressive behavior. This can include killing you repeatedly outside of your home territory, however. If a settlement gives you a reason to declare a casus belli, please make sure that the moderation team, staff, or helpers are aware before proceeding. You are not allowed to specifically declare war on settlements below your class without a casus belli. This is called the White Lotus rule. Steve made a whole video on that, explaining the background of it and I guess some history on the server, so that's also going to be in the top right corner. Make sure to click that and watch that. I guess I'll go explain it. So basically, the White Lotus rule, heads up, this will be asked in the application, means that a city is not permitted to war a hamlet or town without a casus belli. An empire is not permitted to war anything below an empire without a casus belli. Hamlets can pretty much war anyone above hamlet status unprovoked, but if they wish to bring allies or mercenaries into the fight, they need a casus belli. So killing someone in their home territory is considered war, considered an act of war. So basically, breaking this down, if you were, let's just say, if you were an empire, right, and you wanted to war against a township, you could not. You would not be able to without a casus belli, right? Let's just say if you were a township and you wanted to war an empire, you could literally war them. Good luck though, because you have only 6 to 13 players, but they have 25 plus. So yeah, basically it means a settlement that is a higher classification cannot attack a settlement of a lower classification without a casus belli, to put it into simple terms. How do land claims work? So currently in the beta test, we actually use flans, so the flans mod and economy mod Gunpowder. So the flan mods uses the claim block system, so you need to buy the claim blocks, so /flan buy claim blocks, and then the amount. The minimum size for a claim can be a 10 by 10 area, so that requires around 1,000 money, let's just say. There are 0 upkeep costs, so you don't need to have cobblestone in a chest or whatever that gets used up over time, but your leader of the land can impose taxes on their citizens. If the leader does not log into the claim every 7 days, the entire claim is deleted, so the leaders should be the most active players. You can transfer leadership at any time. They do have a warp shop, which is currently in the beta test. You do /spawn, and there's a caravan there with a sign that you can right click and it will ask you to trade a gold block for 75 money. Only gold right now, but they may add diamonds, netherite, and yttrium, one of the modded ores later on. So 1 block of gold is $75 or money. You can also loot money from your opponent's wallets if you kill them. You would gain $200 and they would lose $200. It's a special mod created for the server called Gunpowder Killrewards. Gunpowder Killrewards, so this is a custom mod that Steve had commissioned the creator of the Gunpowder mod actually make. Their Discord is there and they are on the server, I believe. This mod makes it so when you kill an enemy, you loot money from their body. The player who makes the final blow, the player who actually gets the kill gets the money, not all who participated. The killer would gain a maximum of 200 money or dollars, and the killed player would lose a maximum of $200. The 200 can be raised and lowered, and it is not final. I don't actually think there's been many PvP situations in the beta test, to my knowledge. So I feel like that this whole kill rewards is going to be thoroughly tested when the non-donators are actually able to join. So low balance. So say you only have $50 and are killed, the killer only receives $50 and you only lose $50. However, if you have no balance or negative balance and the killer kills you, they don't get any money. However, you start to gain a negative balance, and if you are killed, you begin to fall into debt. This starts at intervals of 200 and has a soft cap at around negative 2000. As you can see, dying to enemies is extremely punishing and can completely drain your whole settlement's economy and prevent you from expanding for days. If you want to bank your money, be sure to use the /flan buy blocks command. Your claim blocks can't be looted on death and are pretty safe. However, the lower your money is, the closer you are to falling into debt, which begins to decrease over time. Sometimes it may make sense to let your opponents loot 50 to 100 money rather than fall into debt. It's up to you, and it is your strategic decision. This surprisingly lasted longer than I expected. Anyway, world and land scarring. So almost any form of world scarring you can possibly think of is bannable. A staff can tell who placed a block, so we will be able, by we I mean them, the mod team will be able to figure out who did it very quickly. TNT, fire spread and mob griefing are disabled already, just an FYI. No lava cast walls, no frivolous destruction of the landscape, no flooding or building massive man-made islands over the ocean. Sky bases are allowed, but they must be tasteful. Sky bases have a lot of visual impact, so these are going to be under more scrutiny. So if it looks nice and is era appropriate, it should be absolutely fine. If players on the server and Stevorium staff don't like how it looks, it will be taken down. Above ground structures must be tasteful, so like, I don't know, a castle or like a dainty little house like I have. None of us are pro builders here, well, most of us aren't pro builders here, but try to avoid giant cobblestone cubes and non-era specific builds, so space stations, skyscrapers, etc. If it looks like an eyesore, they will get in contact with you, and if you are unreachable, it will likely be removed. Pretty much anything grows underground and underwater, that's fair game. If you just want to build a cobblestone cube base or a massive wooden plank rectangle, you can just make it underground. Just another thing, farms like these, so basically with a ton of entities crammed in, because they cause a lot of lag on the server, they will not be tolerated, so just make sure that there's only like, it's a little less condensed in here, so like a few cows, a few sheep, I guess breed them and then kill. It sounds wrong, but breed out of context, but breed and just, I guess, kill them so you can get like the loot from them, I guess. But yeah, another thing that I should add with world and land scarring, it would be best not to place a bunch of blocks while running. For an example, in the beta test, there have been like, I guess, some mysterious wooden blocks that appear just placed on the ground for no reason. Not like in the shape of a house, but just like placed as if someone was trying to like, I guess, place cobblestone over water to like speed run or something like that. Also, cobblestone over water, if it looks like you've got like some stepping stones, and I guess it's not in your claim, you will be contacted about that because they can find out who actually placed some blocks. Alright, so that just about wraps up the FAQ for Stevorium. Hopefully this actually helped you, whether it was because you just didn't want to read it and you just wanted to listen to it. I would still suggest going through it. I guess you can go through it along with me. You can scroll while I read it to you. But yeah, hopefully it helped. I know I have not uploaded in like, I guess a month now, like a proper video. I have uploaded like what, 1 or 2 shorts. But yeah, it is what it is. It's a little busy at the moment, but yeah. So anyways, if you like the video, make sure to click the like button. If you dislike the video or want to see something be changed or have some feedback for me, you can click the dislike button. I don't mind. As long as you leave some constructive feedback down in the comments that can help me grow, it's all fair game. If you really like the video and you would like to, I guess, support me, please hit the subscribe button. It helps a lot with just, I guess, motivation or morale. And it also makes me want to make more videos, just so I know that more people are actually getting help from what I make. So yeah, I will see you guys when I see you guys. Hopefully I will see you guys in the server. Hopefully not attacking me. Please don't attack me. I just live in a dainty little house at the moment. So yeah, I'll catch you guys on the server, but until then, I will see you guys when I see you guys. Bye bye.